is a God-given, beautiful world. Exploring and adventure, kind of what I'm looking for. My name is Mike. Join me on my channel, Into the Art 365. Big thank you goes out to SLR Branding and Flagpole Cape for sponsoring today's episode. Please look in the description below for a link to their website. There we go. Oh man, heck, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to watch this bit. Careful, careful. I wanted to show you something. This is an absolutely beautiful little picnic site on the contour path, and very family friendly getting here. It's a big circular platform that's elevated, so even when it's raining you'll be relatively dry out of the mud. Obviously not from the roof side, but have a look at that. Time for some good coffee before you take me apart on all my pink appliances. Firstly, I got only girls in the house, and secondly, I use what's in the house. Bacon and carbonara pasta. Just can add a little bit of more. Makes it a bit more creamy actually. Looking good. It's almost ready. Eesh. That's good. So head on out. New addition to the life of the forest, but obviously it obscures the path. It's really dense in here, so you walk 50 meters and you can't see me anymore. So that is on its own. You can see my hand is not on it, and it's at 43 degrees. Now that's just this spot here, which is relatively level. There's no quick and easy here. Kind of got to look around and find a way. There is a basic vague path, but yeah, you kind of got to find it and look for the currents. So if you're wondering how I'm navigating my way up this gorge, there's a couple of things that are helping me here. Firstly, I've got very steep sides on either side of me, so there's only kind of one way down and one way up. But you can spend a heck of a lot of time sort of bushwhacking to try and find your way around, especially where there's obstacles and things like that. So the way I'm navigating is people who've gone before me have put these things up, and they're called cairns. And right through this whole valley we follow, or this little gorge, we follow these little rock piles. That up there is Doc Gully. As I swing it around, you should be able to see up into the gully. And yeah, just to remind you, I'm at more than 45-degree angle and still going up. So pretty hair raising, and it's quite sort of shaly rock. It slips and slides and rolls away underneath you. It's in the 1800s that we have quite a few mountaineers exploring and kind of expeditionists exploring the mountain, also because there were dams being built on top and they were looking for alternative routes up and down. And it's late 1800s, early 1900s are where most of our first ascent records are placed, the time frame that they placed in. And this particular gorge was George Travis Jackson's favorite place on the mountain, and he would actually spend nights up here for many years. His late 40s, early 50s, that he finally decided one day to actually try and do the ascent in this gully behind me called Dark Gully. Bearing in mind in his years, it was kind of hemp ropes and hobnailed boots. I'm not really willing to go any much further than this, especially being winter. It's very wet, very mossy, very slimy. The story goes that Jackson tried this quite a few times unsuccessfully, and then came out with a friend who I think descended down from the top. So that would be where you can see the light behind me, and dropped a rope down. And Jackson, in sheer exhaustion, eventually grabbed the rope between his teeth to give his arms a break. Massaged some life back into his arms, and then managed to finish the route. Try and do this descent slowly without slipping. Fortunately, if you do slip, it's not a massive thing, but you'll get a few grazes and be knocked about a bit. A little bit on the shaly side, eh? Makes for fun going down. At the moment I'm kind of just sliding down on my bum. There we go. Kind of messy. This is the worst bit that I'm on now. That's it. There we go. Alright. Still got skin. Whoa! That's what happens. Let's go across here. Get off the shaly bit. That's it. That's the worst of it over. Here we are back in Dark Gorge. That's the direction we need to carry on just now. All the writings on Travis Jackson indicate that he spent an awful lot of time in here. He would bring friends and family, and he took about 8 years before he tried his initial ascent of Doc Gully itself, and he had many attempts before he actually got it right. So he would actually spend time up here at night, and sometimes he'd make a fire and eat out here, and he'd sleep out here for a day or two, and that was part of his exploration and what he was doing. And during that time he basically found a little overhang and packed a whole lot of rocks out as a protection to give him a little place to sleep at night. And I've actually discovered it. I've actually found it. So it's not exactly a massive cave, it's more of an overhang. It's quite a cozy little spot. I mean, it's well protected against the elements, and you can imagine that this wall would have been built up a bit better. It's obviously collapsed over the years. But yeah, you could spend a night in here quite comfy with your blankets and stuff. You could have a good lie and a good kip here. And there's enough space in here to actually build a fire if you needed to. But yeah, this would be quite a pleasant experience nowadays. I think in the end of the 1800s, early 1900s, this could have been pretty wild, eh? It's really quiet, eh? Peaceful. I'm sure in those years they didn't have a whole lot of city noises like you hear now, but it's very distant. I just stopped for a short break in Jackson's cave, and yeah, it was cold. I actually had to put a jersey on. Alright, I slipped. Yeah. Don't underestimate it, eh? I have to move over to the chest strap for now, just until we make the ascent. It's just getting too dangerous to try and have a hand that's not being used in terms of the actual climbing. I don't know if you can actually see that well down below, but that's what we've come. Jackson's cave was way down the bottom there, and we are on our way up. And if I turn around carefully, we pretty much got to make it all the way up here. So I'm not on my hands and feet all the time, but there are quite a few places where I do need to use my hands to stabilize, and shaly and slippery, so I wouldn't mind not falling again today. And I do know that the exit of this gorge gets narrower and narrower and narrower, and then obviously a heck of a lot steeper as well to get out, and it's very scrabbly there, so we'll see how it looks. I might have to turn around and come back down, but I'm hoping that's not the case. It's crazy how steep this is. It's really, really pleasant. I'm standing at the bottom of a waterfall and just holding the camera in my hand, literally, and kind of on a little ledge. But I mean, look up there. Look downhill. That's where I've come from. Turn around. That's the way we've got to go. We've got a good 150, 200 meters at least to. That's kind of vertical ascent. We managed to break the clearing into a clearing, and obviously this is a part where it starts getting narrower and narrower. You probably can pick up the echo on the camera, and we're heading up to the next forest, which is up over there, where we can see the sunlight. So yeah, probably another 40-50 meters, and we're starting to crest and summit actually. Oh man, heck, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to watch this bit. Careful, careful. Kind of make sure of every footing now. Going to slow me down, but rather that than taking a tumble here. It will be rather unpleasant. Be a bit better scrambling up there if I make it across. No, that's too slimy. Let's go one up higher. That's it. There we go. Another one. Too slimy. Yep, that's it. Man, this is unpleasant. There we go. Yeah. Okay, we need to move away across that way. That's it. Through the worst of the slime there. I can probably move across this foliage. Yeah, that's it. Into the bramble, of course. You've got allergies, this is not the place to be. There's been some animal or something that's climbed up here. You can see all the scratches on the rock. If you can see where my hand is, a whole lot of scratches, and that's claw marks. Something trying to scramble up. So even the wildlife struggles a bit here. There we go. Oh, much better. Much safer to climb up here. Much cleaner, the rock. Should have done that in the first place. But anyway, here we are. Of course, until the next piece. So the key to mountain climbing is you take your time. Now this is one of the sites where people go wrong. They try and move up the right side of the gully, and it just gets so dangerous. So we're going to keep against this side, but I mean the view down is already absolutely phenomenal. We've come from way down there. If we were 45 degrees before, we're a good 65, 70 degrees now in angle. So to give you an idea, the camera is obviously showing my shoes down here right in front of me, and that is where we came from. Hands and feet, baby, hands and feet. Keep it going, one step in front of the other. Glad I kept left. I did this once before, where we found ourselves on that piece across there, and we ended up in such trouble. Mainly because it's slippery, grassy slope, and if you take a tumble, you're going to literally roll all the way down to the bottom, breaking bones as you go. So, not ideal. This is a much better path, and tree roots are just phenomenal. They're not nice to step on because they're slippery when you step on, but really nice for hand grips. One of the important things here, I mean, Monty said it in one of the previous episodes, always try and keep 3 limbs attached while one limb is moving. That way it's safe. Also, the other big mistake that a lot of people make is they try and go down forwards or face backwards on the rock, especially on coming down, not so much on climbing up, obviously. And that is where it gets really dangerous, because your momentum is going to carry you forward in a fall, and it carries you forward and away from the rock. So you have no chance of grabbing onto anything that you're going past. It's getting closed in here now as well. I'm actually having to crawl through here just to get my bag through. But we're almost at the summit. Here's the signboard right in front of me, actually. I'll show you now. Yeah, we're at the summit. Woo-hoo-hoo! Here we are. We made it! Oh, what a beaut. Man. Just check at that view. Man, that is stunning. We're going to head over here temporarily. This is Pulpit Rock I showed you from the bottom. Quick view of Lion's Head in the front of Table Mountain. You can see Dark Gorge over here. So literally in the saddle between what would be McClear's Beacon area and Devil's Peak on that side. So the nickname for this bush is Climber's Friend. Now, anyone in the Cape who's ever grabbed a hold of one of these knows there's absolutely nothing friendly about this bush. It's full of little thorns. Every little leaf has got a little thorn on it, and it's a really unpleasant bush to walk through and to grab hold of. But clearly the reason they call it Climber's Friend is because it saved many a climber's life, because when you grab onto it, it doesn't break that easily. It's a very hardy little plant. Newlands Forestry Station. Looks like it's 100 miles from here. You look at that and you realize that that's what Travis Jackson actually came up. I mean, it's just nuts. I mean, at the top here, it's just grass, and I mean, just getting down there would not be really pleasant at all. You had to scramble up all of that. That there would be the ridge line of Pulpit Rock, which I'm sitting on right now. I actually think that, as far as I understand from the readings, that he actually came out on this ridge line, but nevertheless, it's still nasty. So this ends today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed it, and yeah, I hope you subscribe down below. And give me a thumbs up, give me a comment. It really goes a long way to helping, and I really appreciate you guys taking time out to watch some of my adventures. And I really want to encourage you to get out into the 365 yourself, eh?